Hello, welcome back to the channel. Trying to get a few jobs done this morning before the rain comes. I don't know if I've timed it well, but we shall see how far we get. Anyway, the first job are these two boxes, which are some more soft fruits, and I wanted to show you how they arrive. So I've ordered these, I'm not sponsored, I've paid for these, and I've ordered them from Roots online, and I've had quite a few things from Roots, and without doubt anything that I've bought has been received in really good condition and very, very healthy. So I wanted to show you that. So open the box, and in here I have 6 strawberry plants, and these are an ever-bearing variety because I don't seem to have an ever-bearer. Mine all flowered and fruited very early on in the season. So I have 6 of these. This variety is called Flamenco. Not sure that these are actually earmarked for my raised planter at the moment. I think I need to sort that out later on in the season. But I seem to have a few varieties in there that appear to be more of a wild strawberry. They're very tiny and a really strange texture. So I'm trying to swap them for these, and hopefully this will give me obviously strawberries longer into the season. So these just might be potted on into bigger pots and left in the greenhouse for a while. So I've got 6 of those, as you can see. All the same quality. Really pleased with these, and they're even sort of fastened into the side of the box to stop them moving about too much. And in this box here I have 3 Autumn Bliss raspberry plants, and again this is the condition that the plants arrive in. Well watered, very green, and just really healthy looking plants. So I couldn't be more thrilled with the service that I get from Roots. These are going to get into the ground today, definitely. These I'm going to have a think about them. Pretty certain that the strawberries are going to end up in the greenhouse. So let's get these in before it rains. Oh, spoke too soon, it's already raining. First thing first, need to prepare the holes to put them in. Got the chicken manure pellets. Going to plant them in the back of the fruit cage behind you. Oh, I can't believe it's already raining. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. And it's forecast to rain today at 4 o'clock. And, well, it's already raining. I have to say, the sunflowers have given an absolutely spectacular show in the back of the fruit cage this year. I think that hole will be deep enough. Right. This one actually feels the driest of the lot. Well, they did come a couple of days ago, so it's not Roots' fault, it's mine. I haven't gotten around to planting. Look pretty healthy though, don't they? Right, in you go. Oh, hopefully you'll be happy here. That's it, final one. Give them a good watering in. Before I leave the fruit cage, there's something really exciting that is now ready to harvest, and I've been waiting for this for the longest time. Duncan loves blueberries, but I have seen this recipe for blueberry sourdough, and it's been on my mind since I've seen it, and I've been dying for these to ripen so I can make this sourdough loaf. Look at them, wow. It's time for the sourdough loaf, I hope. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, so juicy. Sorry, I've got to do it. Look away now. Oh wow, that was absolutely gorgeous. But I've just seen something else that's even more exciting. Pink lemonade one. Look at the colour of that. Absolutely gorgeous. So vibrant. If you follow me for a while, you'll know that I only had about 5 flowers on the pink lemonade. And obviously this is one of the fruits, so again, I'm sorry. Wow, that's a lot sweeter than the blue one. Woohoo! Blueberries in my own garden. So happy. Now I have some lovely trugs and I had some nice paper bags, but I've run out of paper bags. I've just done an order. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to pick these in one of these little plastic bags for now and get them in my harvest basket that way. But they'll fall through if I don't put them in something. Let's see how many we get. I can't believe how many are on it. Wow. When you think how expensive blueberries are to buy from the shops. Wow. It's taken me a lot of willpower not to eat these while I'm picking. But I really want to make that loaf of bread. So tasty compared to ones in the shop as well, and really soft. Whereas sometimes I find the ones that we buy in the shops are quite tough skinned. But these aren't. Look at that, my first ever blueberry harvest. It's exciting, all these firsts are truly, truly exciting. And I'm still thinking to myself that this time last year, none of this existed. This plot hadn't even been started. And that's something else I've harvested for the first time. It's just brilliant. And while I'm in here, I'll just show you the strawberries that I'm considering replacing. Can you see them? You know, the plants look lovely, but all of the strawberries are like this. And they're not even like a normal strawberry. I can't really show you, but they're like dry inside. They're not even a strawberry texture. They're most weird. Most weird. But there's several of these plants in here, and this is what I'm thinking of replacing for next year. Because I'm growing them, but we're not eating them. They're just not nice. I'm also wondering whether the fact that I've let these runners do what they want to do for the last few months is probably affecting the plants. These are all new plants after all, so maybe I shouldn't have been allowing quite so many runners for their first year, and I've just kind of really let them go wild. So I've made the decision, a brave decision probably. I'm just going to cut all of these runners off this year and allow things to shoot next year, but not this year. I know this probably seems a bit harsh, but they're going to put up runners again next year, and those runners can become new plants, and these are a bit stronger. Now, I'm saying this, but if I come across any that are well rooted into the wood chip, like I think this one here might be, you can see it growing here next to the plant, then I'm just going to just very gently pull the wood chip away. Pull up the plant, and as you can see, this one has really well established root system on it. So these I will actually pot on and plant somewhere else, but everything else I'm just not letting them have these runners now this end of the year. Concentrate on themselves. Well, it might have seemed brutal, but that definitely looks neater, doesn't it? Wow, when you look at all of this, I certainly didn't have room to allow all of those runners to grow this year, did I? Now, while I've got the wheelbarrow here to put some rubbishy bits in, I'm just going to trim these nasturtiums back, because I mentioned in my last video how they were dying back already and I was quite disappointed in them. Now, a few people commented, Kerry was one of them, and I'll put the other names on the screen right now, suggested that if I cut them back, they might actually come back again this year. So I guess it's my fault that they've died back, because I didn't actually deadhead the nasturtiums. There's that many flowers on them, they're quite hard to keep on top of. And I'm guessing they've just gone to seed and thought that they're done for the season. So thank you for those tips. There are a lot of seed heads in the ground here as well, so I don't think I'm going to have a problem for growing them next year. Now this does not look very good at all, but there are some green leaves there now. Let's just see what happens. Watch this space. And again, if you look at the one this side, you can see, which kind of backs up the suggestions from people, that you can see there are some new small green leaves underneath there. So I'll cut off this that's dying back, and we'll see what happens with this one as well. Can you see all of the seed heads in the wood chip? I'm going to cover them up. I don't mind the idea of having a few nasturtiums growing outside the beds next year if they can root in there. That'd be quite nice. This one is definitely the biggest disappointment though. This variety is called Milkmaid and it's supposed to trail 3 meters plus. Now I'm not sure that that looks any better, but it'll be interesting to see if it can have a bit of a flourish, see if it can compete against these sweet peas for a bit of late summer, early autumn colour on the plot for me. This is the third patty pan that I've picked, absolutely loving them. We had the other ones roasted in the oven with some corn mince, and I had tomatoes, onions, garlic and peppers from the plot mixed into that as well. And I think it was just lovely to think that whole meal came from the plot, including some salad on the side as well. Just love them, absolutely love them. As I was harvesting that patty pan, I did notice that these amaranth were blowing about quite a bit in the wind. Don't want them to break, because even if you weren't going to eat amaranth, they're so pretty in the garden that I'd be devastated if the wind knocked them down now. They do look a little bit more secure now. They weren't on my to-do list today, but I don't think they'd have been around tomorrow if I'd have left them in that wind, really, would they? But I'm glad I've done that, so let's get on with the harvesting. I absolutely adore swede, and in my excitement to grow swede, I have to say I've not thinned them out enough, so obviously I'm only getting quite little ones at the moment, so that's a lesson learned for next year. As Danny said from the Grow Up channel in a recent video, they actually need as much room as a cabbage to ensure that you get a really big swede. So Danny, a swede challenge next year, you're on. I'm going to try and grow some bigger ones. This one looks like it's thinking of bolting, so I'll have that one as well. Beautiful. Another first for picking are these runner beans. There's a few, oh, drop that one. There's a few of them ready now, and oh, I'm really excited. I didn't grow any runner beans last year on the garden because I didn't have enough room. But these have just been an absolute joy to grow because the colours of the flowers, these are called Painted Lady, and they've just been beautiful to see as a plant, just as colour in the garden. Feels like they're giving joy to me twice in one season. And then, not to be outdone, on the other side of the archway, we have our other runner beans, and these are Scarlet Emperor. Again, these have had some really pretty flowers on, and it's been quite striking to see them over the archway, but it's definitely not been as prolific as the Painted Lady. Wow. Definitely runner beans for dinner tonight, isn't it? Wow, there's me saying they're not as prolific, and I think I'm taking more off of here in the end. Certainly didn't look like it had as many flowers on as the Painted Ladies. I need to remember to separate them a bit in the basket so I know which ones are which. So those ones in that corner are the painted lady, and these ones, the scarlet emperors. Look at them. Absolutely gorgeous, aren't they? I feel like I've got a bit of an accidental polyculture going here with all of these French beans in different beds. These purple ones are just so beautiful. This plant here, this one's pongo beans. Look how many beans are on that plant. Wow. For a plant so small, you would not think it'd have those many beans on it, would you? How prolific is that? These were seeds sent to me again by Danny from Grow Up. He gave them to me at Malvern in May. I am going to Malvern again next month if any of you are going to the autumn show. There's quite a few YouTubers going, and we're all going on the Sunday, including Sarah from Sundays in the Garden. Look at that, all of those beans off of one plant. Super impressive, that is. Let's see what we can harvest in the polytunnel. Everything is growing really, really well in here since you probably last saw it. The tomatoes have completely recovered from their issues with the leaf curl. They've been topped, so they're constantly putting up shoots now. So I feel like all I do when I walk across here is keep looking for side shoots. I haven't had any off this one yet. This is called HE First, but a lot of the other tomatoes are ripe. So let's get picking. This first tomato here is Black Beauty, and they're very hard to tell whether they're ripe, but they just go a little bit red at the bottom, and that really helps to identify that it's time to pick them. You see, this one's split slightly. And this one again. Oh, didn't want to break that one. You see, it's got a lot of redness in it now, and obviously it's quite soft. These ones, by comparison, are still green underneath, so they're definitely not ready yet. Moving along here, we have a burlesque. Now this one isn't very big at all if you compare it to this one that's coming next. Look at the size of that. That's huge. That's going to be my biggest tomato of the year. There are a few honeycombs on here, but I'll pick those last because they'll fall through the basket otherwise. This beauty here is supposed to be crushed heart, but it's not looking very heart-shaped, is it? Neither is this one. And I think there's some more higher up here. They don't look heart-shaped either, do they? Next tomato along is the San Marzano. Got a little one ready there. You can see the later tomatoes are going to be much bigger though. That's exciting. Then look at these beauties. This is Great Yellow Blue. There's nothing ripe on here at the moment. Everything's such very different sizes. But I'm looking forward to seeing those ones. The next plant is another Black Beauty. Nothing ripe on this one at the moment. They're all still very green underneath. Now this one here in the corner is again that prize-winning tomato plant. And I have to say this Luc Vichois has been the most prolific tomato plant that I've had this season. And not disappointed one bit. And when you think this is probably not producing to the level it should, I mean, look at all these flowers here that didn't set. It's already been brilliant. So to think how it should have been, or could have been, if we didn't have the issues we had with the weather this year, I think it's going to be a firm favourite for next year. And there's lots and lots of fruit on this truss here to ripen yet. This one in the corner by the back door is another Queen of the Night. As you can see, there's nothing ready on here at the moment. But the shape of these later tomatoes that are ripening on here tells me that this is what shape they all should have been if we hadn't have had those issues early on. I know. I'm getting sick of mentioning the leaf curl as well. If I come back along this centre bed, this is a money maker. A good old reliable cropper. Although we have all different sizes of tomatoes on this plant. It's hilarious. It's is it a cherry tomato plant? Is it a normal tomato plant? I mean, obviously I know It's supposed to be a salad tomato size, but that's what we're getting off of here. Beautiful tomatoes. These ones here are Crimson Crush. Thought I'd better have the odd blight resistant variety. But moving along from the Crimson Crush, this is Duncan's favourite tomato plant. Look at the size of the trusses again on here. Absolutely amazing. It's like a bunch of grapes, isn't it? Just so many tomatoes. When you let them get really ripe, they are the most vibrant red colour. They are the reddest tomato that I have in the polytunnel. Absolutely gorgeous. Although again, as you can see, there's quite some inconsistencies in the sizes, isn't there? You can just see how red they are in comparison to the money makers. Get them out for you to see. Such a different colour red. And then the last tomato in here is this one. This is Blue Bayou. Again, this is a cat-faced one though, not the best one to show you. I think this one is also ripe. Such a pretty tomato. Camera doesn't really pick it up, but it's quite a bluey black on the shoulders there. Not a bad tomato haul, is it? Not a bad tomato haul. Now I've got a bit more in the basket. I'll just grab these ripe sun gold. Now, of course, it's not just tomatoes that I have in here. We also have been harvesting lots and lots of cucumbers. I did take some in the other day, so I'm not entirely certain that there's that many on at the moment. Put that one in the basket. I think this is my favourite one that I'm growing. This is La Diva. And last year I grew a La Diva and it was a teeny tiny thing. It never grew any bigger. But these are really, really nice cucumbers. Wow. I can't believe that's another 4 cucumbers. I picked loads the other day and I did pickle quite a lot in jars. I think I'm going to have to try some cucumber relish this time though. Ali from the Right Pear Plot did send me a recipe and I have all of the ingredients, so why not give it a go? There are 2 hugely exciting things in the polytunnel for me though, so whilst this is kind of almost like a mini polytunnel tour, I might as well show you those as well. One of them I'm not really sure when to pick. It must be almost getting ready. There's a sweet kind of smell coming from here, but I'm not entirely certain that it's the right smell yet. But if you look down here, this melon is almost ripe. Now I know this one isn't ripe and I was told to knock them and see if it sounds hollow. And it doesn't yet. Doesn't help that I can smell the marigolds as well. The biggest marigold plant happens to be right by the melons. And there's also another one at the back of the polytunnel. Is it ripe yet? There's a bit of cracking coming around. Does that mean it's ripe because it's cracking around the top there? Oh, should I pick it? Oh, I don't know what to do. I've just done a quick Google and it says you pick them when the tendril closest to the melon has dried up. Now, obviously there's a tendril here that has dried up, but that tendril is probably closer to that melon, which is clearly not ripe. But I think this one is. I think I'm going to do it. And if I'm wrong, then I have 5 other melons growing on this one plant. I'm going to do it. Let's do it. I'm so excited. I'm glad I checked again, and I'm really glad that you're joining me for this one. First ever melon, and I never thought I'd be able to grow melons in Staffordshire. So excited. It feels like there should be a drum roll for this, so let me just pause and add a drum roll. Right, okay, it's time. I've done it! I've picked my first ever melon. Look at that. Wow, 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 wow. Now I've picked it. Oh, I can smell melon now. I really hope there's no bugs that have gotten inside there now because I've left it that bit longer. But can you believe me, have grown a melon? Wow. Honestly, that is just wow. Never in a month of Sundays did I ever think that was going to be possible in this garden. I'm getting more and more blown away each week with things that are happening. And talking about being blown away, if I just pan the camera around a little bit more, look at these monsters here. Didn't think I'd be able to grow them either. Didn't know you could grow them. For some reason, I thought loofah sponges were some kind of coral. And they're growing in my polytunnel. Oh, it smells gorgeous. I've got some ice cream and yogurt. Depends how healthy I want to be. Wow. I don't even care that I've got a particularly unhealthy red glow about me. Melon in my harvest basket. Blown away. I was going to call it quits and go in the house because I've been outside for hours and hours and it has started raining now, but I've just come into the pepper greenhouse and there's something really exciting. Now, it might not be quite as exciting as the melon, but it is super exciting nonetheless. Do you remember me sowing some seeds from an orange bell pepper from Morrison's? So many people told me that I would never get an orange pepper back. Well, look at it! Orange pepper! Look at that! How amazing is that? Couldn't be more thrilled. I was actually told that there was a chance I wouldn't get any peppers or flowers on the plant at all, that it might be sterile. So to have gotten some flowers, to have gotten peppers, and for it to have ripened true to the type, absolutely thrilled. So what does this mean? Obviously, I'm going to have to save the seed so that I can do this again next year. But what I am also going to take in is one of these. Look at that. That is my very first Sugar Rush long peach. And actually, I've just spotted the second one ripe. Brilliant. Looks like a day of orange chilies and peppers. Have to say, considering it's taken me all this time to decide whether that melon was ripe or not when it was in the polytunnel, it smells like melon in the greenhouse. There must be so much draft through the polytunnel that the smell wasn't really hitting me, because it's here again. It's very smelly now. Now, whilst I've picked a few of the Sugar Rush long peaches, I think I'm going to pick some of these Buena Mulatas as well. This plant's full of them. So colourful. Well, I was going to pot on the strawberries and sow some things as well, but I've run out of time, so that'll have to be in the next video. Look after yourselves. I'll catch you then.